Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you are all well. I got a very special video for you today. This is going over the entire house of Unqiue'e Luxury. I believe I have 13 full bottles here on the table. I have one brand new in the packaging, which is Ismer here. It's actually for a friend. And the other ones that I don't have are Crush on Me and Aphrodisiac Touch. I've had multiple samples of both of them. They are very good. They just did not match my skin chemistry very well, and I feel like they're better suited on a woman's skin. And Ismer, I have two samples of. I'll be buying one of my own in a little bit. It's just a very, I guess you could say, mass appealing, but also unique blue fragrance. It's something that is different to Octanez. You know, Octanez is a lot more tropical, where Ismer is more in your standard blue category. Just very much amped up. It's got the extrait perfume concentration, insane longevity, and it's something that is so versatile. You know, you could wear it for date night, office usage. It's one of my favorite fragrances from the house, just because of its versatility and how it smells in the air. So with that said, we'll go over this as a guide to the house. These are not ranked in any particular order. This is more of a guide for people that are interested in purchasing Unqiue'e Luxury or may have a couple of their fragrances and are interested in a few more. So we'll go over them real quick. Now, if you guys have watched one of my older videos, you'll know that the first one I'm grabbing here, Beverly Hills Exclusive, is my favorite fragrance from the house, and it's not just one of my favorite fragrances from the house of Unqiue'e Luxury. Beverly Hills Exclusive is one of my favorite fragrances in my entire collection. It is that good. Cardamom, sage, rose, honey, tobacco leaf, orris, sandalwood, ambergris. It's really the sandalwood, ambergris, and orris that give it so much depth, complexity, and characteristics, in my opinion. Obviously, the honey, tobacco leaf with the cardamom and sage is an absolutely beautiful note in there. You got the rose, bergamot for a little bit of a kind of floral citrus kick in there as well. But it is just an absolutely gorgeous fragrance and extremely mass appealing. And even though it has tobacco in it, which women normally don't gravitate towards, the tobacco is not heavy enough in that fragrance to where I think it would turn women off. I think it's something that a lot of women would actually enjoy wearing. So you got to check out Beverly Hills Unqiue'e Luxury. It's just absolutely incredible. Beverly Hills Exclusive would be my number one if this was a ranking video. So Zenji, you guys know how much I love this fragrance as well. Honey, wine, I believe it's got ginger, some other spices in there, tons of resins and woods as well. This fragrance is just hard to describe. It is extremely classy smelling. It's not a fake grape smell because it's a wine accord, so it's got some very nice juicy components with the honey and the ginger and the other resins in the fragrance, but it also smells real. It doesn't smell fake like a grape candy or a grape cola or something of that nature. So wonderful job. I think Zenji is probably one of their most proper fragrances in terms of something that you would wear like for a dress-up occasion, even though quite a few would fit that bill. But Zenji is just extremely special to me, and I think I had it as 2 or 3 on the house when I did my top 7 video, so that just shows how much I enjoy this one. So Scientific. Maybe one of my most complimented from the entire house, man. Women seem to love this one. Has osmanthus, a bunch of different fruit notes at the top. Kind of smells like one of those fruit bowls that you'd open up when you used to go to school, and it had the cherries, peach, pineapple, mango, strawberry. Just a very fruity fragrance without being overly fruity or overly sweet. They did a good job of mixing in some stronger base notes, the osmanthus in there, which is kind of a sweet floral note as well. So Scientific is just an extremely well-received fragrance, and it's something I think that a lot of people could almost wear as a signature scent, and women would definitely love that one. I think women may gravitate towards So Scientific even more than men, but I love that one. So the next one from the house is Barrel. This fragrance does not get talked about that much. I'm talking about it now, but that is fine with me if it doesn't get a lot of love from the house. Maybe just because a lot of people have not tried it yet. But man, this is one of the best green fragrances, not just from the house, but on the entire market, in my opinion. It has a lot of very strong green notes in here. You guys will almost just have to look up the notes for yourself. It's got some, I believe it's vetiver in there, but this is nice because it's a green fragrance that doesn't go soapy or acidic. It's just very well balanced, very fresh. And it's very interesting because it's something that you'll smell fresh wearing all day because it keeps those kind of green notes around, but it never goes soapy or one-dimensional. Barrel for me is definitely going to be one of the top choices for spring and summertime when we start getting into the warm weather. Speaking of one of the top choices, Mango-nificent. There's a lot of really good mango fragrances on the market. S.H. Lucas, God of Fire, that's a really good mango one. I think it's Blockade by Mind Games is one that I had a sample of a little while ago. That one's incredible, but for me, it doesn't even come close. Mango-nificent, for everything that I've tried, is by far the best mango fragrance on the market. And a lot of that is not just the honey and the rose note along with the mango at the top. It's what they did in the base and the middle notes of the fragrance. It is sweet. The mango does seem to stick around for 4 to 5 hours, mainly just because of the concentration of the perfume and some of the other notes they mixed in there. But really, it's the base notes of Mango-nificent that make it extremely unique. Let me read it off here so I can cheat a little bit. So you got vanilla, honey, rose, mango, bergamot, geranium. Those are kind of the top middle notes. Then you look at the base notes. It's jasmine, sandalwood, patchouli, moss, musk, and amber. So you see a little bit of those green notes going into a little bit more of a less sweet kind of category with the moss and other things of that nature. And I just can't say enough good things about it. It's very tropical. It is sweet because it's a mango fragrance and it's got honey and rose in there. But it's not something that is overly sweet in my opinion. It's just absolutely incredible. So another one here, easily the most proper fragrance for going out, having drinks and cigars in my opinion, other than maybe Zenji. But this would fit the occasion a little bit more, especially with bourbon, because you smell this fragrance and it is all about bourbon, like a whiskey, in my opinion. It could be Tennessee whiskey, bourbon, rye, whatever you equate it to. But it has got some very beautiful vanilla oak tannin notes in there. Not overly boozy, but it is very boozy. I always joke that if you were to spray this on and then go drive 15 minutes later and get pulled over, you would have some serious questions to answer to the officer because they'd probably think you've been day drinking just wearing this fragrance. But really, this fragrance is all about the oud, the tobacco, and the whiskey. They've done a very, very good job at mixing in some other notes in there as well. So Unqiue'e, situational fragrance, but one of the best fragrances for those situations in my opinion. Now, next one is one of their newest releases. In fact, I believe this is their newest release. They have some other things coming up this year, I believe. But Wood and Mood Absolute, you have to love fragrances like this to appreciate it. It is very oud heavy, leather, green, outdoor. This is just an unapologetic, classic masculine fragrance with, of course, a twist on there that nobody other than Unqiue'e Luxury could do. Wood and Mood Absolute is also one of their strongest fragrances, which says a lot because all of these fragrances are very strong. But Wood and Mood Absolute was replacing the old Wood and Mood. And this one is meant to be a lot more oud heavy, a lot more down into those darker base notes with the oud and the leather. And they just have done an absolutely incredible job. I know a lot of other people really enjoy this fragrance as well. So tropical fragrance, again, spring or summertime, this may be one of your best options other than Izmir and possibly Barrel along with a few others. But you want something that is a tropical blue fragrance that still kind of is in that blue fragrance category but offers a little bit more of a tropical marine twist. I just don't know how it gets much better than Octanez. Man, this fragrance lasts forever. It really does. It lasts forever. It's one of the strongest fragrances in this entire collection, along with Wood and Mood Absolute and a couple of these here that we'll get to. Again, that says a lot because every single thing from this house is extremely strong, extremely well projecting, and man, they just couldn't have done a better job with it. So, Marshimaro is going to be a lot of people's favorite from the house. If you are a little bit hesitant or adverse to sweet fragrances, I would suggest getting a sample of this. If you're a big fan of gourmands, this is going to be a safe blind buy. It's like praline, marshmallow. There's some rose and incense in here as well. I mean, it is just creamy, very sweet, a little toasty, like a toasted marshmallow in there. Again, you got the incense and a bunch of other things. You have some musk and woods as well to balance it out. But this fragrance, it sticks with you when you wear Marshimaro. If you lay down in your bed or you put a shirt on after you spray it on, everything you touch is going to smell like Marshimaro. And that is one of those fragrances to where, for me, I save it for cooler weather. It is a little bit more situational. But even this goes great with like whiskey or cigars because it's sweet, but it's not interfering with anything. You know, if anything, it's just going to highlight some of those vanilla, oak, and maybe even chocolate and cherry notes that you do pick up in bourbon every once in a while. Can't recommend this enough if you do enjoy sweet fragrances, because it is just absolutely incredible. So another one, kind of in the same gourmand category, but that smells completely different. This is Chocolate Makes Me Happy. And this fragrance, guys, has coffee in there. It has some resins as well. I believe it's got grapefruit. It's got like a very juicy note as well, but it's so mixed in with the chocolate and the coffee, and those notes are so heavy. Even though the chocolate is definitely the dominant note here, it's like a dark chocolate. You get a slight bit of that roasted coffee with a little bit of the juiciness. This fragrance, just overall, for me, I love saving this fragrance not only for certain types of events where I just want to smell good and not overthink it, and I know people are going to really enjoy it in the air, but definitely, man, Halloween, Easter, Valentine's Day, any type of holiday or occasion that centers around chocolates or desserts, this is the fragrance to wear, maybe along with Machu Mara, but especially if it's something that centers around chocolate and candy. Chocolate Makes Me Happy all the way. That one is absolutely insane. Probably, in my opinion, there's a lot of good ones out there, but for me, this is the best chocolate fragrance. There's also one from Bond Number 9. I believe it's called So New York. Very different from this, but this is absolutely incredible. So last one here for some of the original ones that I bought, and I got two new ones right here that I just purchased I'm going to go over. But this is Hidden Accords. And I don't hear this one spoken about a lot, kind of like Barrel. And that's fine with me because it's one of the best ones from the house in my opinion. Very unique. It's got pear, jasmine, coffee, pink pepper. They call it Hidden Accords for a reason because everything is so well blended, it's very hard to pick any singular note up. I would probably say that I pick out coffee in here very slightly, but it's so well blended in with the other notes. It is certainly not a coffee fragrance. It just happens to have coffee in there. If you haven't tried Hidden Accords and you're already a fan of the House of Unique Luxury, I don't know what you're doing. You got to get a sample of it. In my opinion, it is definitely one of the best ones from the house. And I know, I forget which subscriber mentioned it to me, but they really loved Hidden Accords too. And I was happy to hear that because you really just don't hear it spoken about that much. But it is absolutely, in my opinion, just a masterpiece from this house. A little bit more versatile too. You got some pear in there, so you could wear it during spring or summertime, maybe cooler nights. But for me, I definitely saved this one for a little bit cooler weather. Not cold weather, but cooler weather. So cooler spring nights, end of winter. And that's all relative to where I live, because where I live in Southeast United States, it's not really that cold. We do get some nights in the 20s and 30s here. But other than that, not a big deal. So the two new ones that I got here, Istanbul. Man, this one is incredible. Istanbul. I waited a little bit to purchase it because I knew I'd probably be wearing this most of the time during summer. But it's got some kind of toffee, caramel notes, tea, citrus, a little bit of like a powdery grape note, but it still smells really realistic, especially mixed in with some of the tea and the other notes in there and the citrus. Very, very well blended fragrance. In fact, I know a lot of people, Istanbul is one of their tops from the entire house. And it is really good. I'm not sure if I would have it in my top 5 quite yet. Got to wear it a little bit more. But from the samples I got, I really, really enjoyed this one. Now the last one, and definitely not least, is Chypre Toscano. Chypre Toscano, that's a tongue twister. Chypre Toscano is very much a spice, green, and leather-oriented fragrance. It's a very clean leather. You get a little bit of an animalic smell from it, but nothing like Wood and Mood Absolute. It's more of a clean leather in there. Oh man, that is so good. There's a reason I bought this one. This is definitely more of a proper dress-up occasion type of fragrance. It's one of those fragrances to wear a little bit like Zinji and some of the other ones. It does feel like it deserves to be dressed up a little bit. I think that it will be better received than if you were to spray this fragrance on and wear it with like casual wear. Definitely not like something that you would spray on and then go to the gym or something of that nature. This one definitely deserves at least a really nice collared shirt, some slacks, dress shoes, something of that nature. Doesn't have to be a suit and tie, but definitely a fragrance that it does feel that it deserves to be dressed up a little bit for people to get the most out of the fragrance. And yeah, man, if you haven't checked that one out from the house, it is a little bit like Barrel and Hidden Accords, to where I feel it is just an absolute standout fragrance. but you don't hear it spoken about that much. The ones you hear spoken about from the house, in my opinion, and just from the brief stuff that I've seen on YouTube and the internet and stuff. So we got Mashumaro would be one, Crush on Me, Istanbul, and Octanez, in my opinion. Those are the ones that are spoken about the most from my knowledge. And there's just so much from this house that they offer, so many different fragrances. It's very nice because just like a lot of famous fragrance houses, they do have like a signature house note. They seem to use a lot of musk and amber in the base of their fragrances, mixed in with quite a few other things, depending on what they're going for. But for them to create these fragrances that are so unique, but also still have a little bit of a signature house style, I just really appreciate it. And I also really appreciate the presentation, the communication from the company, and the value they offer at retail. I think this house in particular, I would have to say, offers the best value in niche fragrances for what you get for the money. You know, you got some really good ones out there. Argos would definitely be on that list. But when you talk about presentation, quality of the fragrance, communication, customer service, shipping, all these other things, when you combine them and you look at what they charge retail, this is definitely one of the best companies for that. So really appreciate all the work that they're doing over there. Serhat, I've spoken to him a couple times through email. Really nice guy, very passionate about fragrances and his work, and it shows in the product. And I think at the end of the day, regardless of whether it's fragrances, a vehicle that we buy, whatever it may be, that's what we look for. Is we look for people that have a passion for what they do and that care about what they're making. And I had an old hockey coach say one time, and it is very true in life, how you do anything is how you do everything. So remember that, and I'll see you guys soon.